My quarterback is a psycho.
Yeah, I've moved on. Moved on to the new year. It's as simple as that.
This is some Tom Brady level psycho stuff right now. Now, you would think after you won the Super Bowl, after you defied the odds, after you silenced the haters, after you got a Super Bowl MVP, that you would be satisfied, that you would at least wear the goddamn ring. Jaylen Herz is so psycho that he can't even wear the Super Bowl ring that he worked his whole life to get, because doing that makes him comfortable. So he has to, close it up, put it away, and not even wear it, because he can't have the satisfaction of knowing in his head, I'm comfortable. This is some GOAT level mentality. This is some Jordan level mentality. This is some Tom Brady level stuff. You know, Tom Brady, the same guy that was crazy enough to think to himself, I'm going to still play after I won my 7th ring. Tom Brady is a guy that won his 7th ring at 40-something years old and still was like, I'm not done. This is that same mentality that Jaylen Herz has. And you might think he's weird. You might think, oh, well, why are you being too much? Wear the ring. Look, the thing with Jaylen Herz is that he's consistent no matter if he's winning or losing. He had this same mentality during the Eagles' collapse. Now, folks was like, oh, why is he being stoic? Why isn't he showing emotion? To me, I respect guys that are consistent in wins and losses. That's Jaylen Herz. And vice versa. A guy who is consistent, let's say he's talking trash in wins, and in losses, he's still talking smack. I can respect that because at least you're being consistent. I don't respect the guys that when they lose, they want to be super humble, and then when they win, they're super cocky. No, where was that energy when you was losing? So back to Jaylen Herz. He's a psycho. He's showing that there are people that don't die for the ball, and there's people that die for the ball. There's people that do whatever they can do to win. Y'all so hung up on passing yards, on passing touchdowns, and this man is so unbothered that he doesn't even want to wear the Super Bowl ring that he worked his whole entire life for. If that doesn't tell me that he's up for a breakout year, yes, a breakout year, and it sounds crazy given the guy finished second in MVP voting in 2022, but I'm looking at a 4,000 passing yard season. I'm looking at a guy that is going to unlock this offense to new levels it has not seen. And I'm looking at a guy that will consistently improve like he's done year in, year out. Jaylen Herz, he is my quarterback one. He is him. He's the one. Shout out to Hertz. But it's other guys that we have to highlight outside of the quarterback, who obviously plays the most important role on this squad. But it's the rookies and it's some newcomers that we got to highlight. How the hell did the NFL allow the Eagles to get Dejean Campbell? The reason why he fell to the Eagles in the first round, the late first round, was because of injury concerns. Well, guess what? First day of training camp, who is in practice? Dejean Campbell. So y'all really thought the Eagles wouldn't fleece the league again? They wouldn't fleece them? And according to reports, Dejean Campbell was good day one. He picked off, well, he didn't pick off, but he broke up a pass from Tanner McKee. He's speedy. He has agility. He can rush the passer and cover. Oh my gosh. It's a reason why Vic Fangio was smiling from ear to ear when Howie told him we got Jaylen Campbell. And some way, somehow, I don't really know how, that the league let the Eagles get this guy who is a projected mid-first round pick to the defending Super Bowl champs. Jaylen Campbell, welcome to the NFL. I believe he will have a glorious, a phenomenal career rather, in Philly. And I'm looking forward to that. And you got the iron sharpens iron everywhere. We're going to talk about that stuff. Iron really does sharpen iron, whether you're in football, whether you're a player, whether you're in business, whether you're in journalism. Iron always sharpens iron. And with Jaylen Campbell, even though Nakobe Dean is on the PUP list right now, he is injured. Best believe off the field, the mentorship that Nakobe Dean will give, the mentorship that Zach Ball will give. Zach Ball is the same guy that was a defensive player of the year candidate and first team All-Pro. Best believe he is getting put, Jaylen Campbell, in the best scenario for a rookie to be in. That's just the facts. And so I'm looking forward to that. It's somebody else besides Jaylen Campbell. He goes by, I guess, one of the exciting whites, Cooper Dejean. Vic Fangio told us essentially what's about to happen. Cooper Dejean is starting in safety in base personnel. He is starting as the safety in base personnel. What does this mean? Cooper Dejean starting as the safety with Reed Blankenship in base personnel is just Vic Fangio saying, I want Cooper Dejean for every play. I want him playing in 100% of snaps. So whether we're in base, whether we're in nickel, Cooper Dejean is going to be on the field. Now, this doesn't mean there isn't going to be a competition for that free safety position when they're in nickel with Andrew Makuba and or Sidney Brown, because it definitely will be. And that's going to be something I'm going to get my popcorn. I'm going to see, because that's going to be something that is going to really be a competition to see who gets that starting safety spot. But Cooper Dejean, I'm looking at him. What did A.J. Brown say? All-Pro Coop. I will say it again. What did A.J. Brown say? All-Pro Coop. It's what it's all about, because you got teammates on the other side of the ball that want to make you better, that want you to be your best self. Because if you are your best self, that makes the whole entire team better as a whole. And I'm looking at that and I'm saying to myself, A.J. Brown's talking about All-Pro Coop and how he wants Coop to become his best self in training camp and how it will lead to the regular season and all of that. I want A.J. Brown to match up with Kelee Ringo every snap in training camp. I don't believe there should be one snap where A.J. Brown isn't lined up against Kelee Ringo. Kelee Ringo needs all the reps he can get against a elite top 3 at worst receiver in the game. Because if he is going up against A.J. Brown every single rep, every single day of training camp, when he faces George Pickens week 1, A.J. Brown, George Pickens is levels to greatness. And George Pickens is nice, but he ain't no A.J. Brown. And so the more A.J. Brown is with Kelee Ringo, and it's that iron sharpens iron, it only makes Kelee Ringo better. Now, I heard that Kelee Ringo, day 1, wasn't that impressive. Now, granted, if you get beat by A.J. Brown, there is no shame in that because Trent McDuffie, Christian Gonzalez, whoever you want to call out, whoever you want to say, Marshawn Lattimore, even though I believe he is extremely overrated, whoever you want to say that's a top tier cornerback in this league, Jair Alexander, A.J. Brown has cooked them man-to-man coverage. So it's no shame in that. But there is this guy that the Eagles signed named Terrace Marshall Jr., who has been raising some eyebrows in training camp. And A.J. Brown said he's going to make this wide receiver room uncomfortable. Now, if you did not know who Terrace Marshall Jr. is, he's 25 years old, 6'3", 200 pounds, and he was a former standout wide receiver at LSU. He was drafted to the Panthers, who had a terrible quarterback room. He goes to the Raiders, who again had a terrible quarterback room. And now he's with the Eagles. So this is the first time since playing with Joe Burrow that Terrace Marshall Jr. is playing with a top 5 level quarterback. And we're seeing what he's doing. He's cooking. And A.J. Brown is seeing this stuff. And so for the Eagles that have had some depth issues at that X spot, and there's been cause for concern with if A.J. Brown gets dinged up, all right, who do we trust outside for that X spot? Terrace Marshall Jr. is putting up a really, really impressive training camp, a really impressive offseason that he might be the next guy up if A.J. Brown sits out or if he gets dinged up or whatever the case may be. He might be the guy. And I love it, bro. Terrace Marshall Jr. is only 25 years old. And his last 2 years at LSU, he had 23 total touchdowns. He had 13 with Joe Burrow, and then he had 10 with a slew of quarterbacks in 2020. But this is a guy that can ball out. This is a guy that is showing how talented, how deep the NFL is with talent, that a guy that was picked up as like an afterthought, respectfully, is cooking the potential cornerback two for the Eagles, Kelee Ringo. Now, here's what we can say. On a positive note, you can think of this, and my take is Terrace Marshall Jr. is a hungry dog. Hungry dogs run faster. And he is really showing up, and he's knowing, hey, my NFL career is on the line right now. I got to ball out. And he's showing that. So that's the positive outlook that you can look at Terrace Marshall Jr. and just say, you know, tip your cap to him. On the other side, if you're being more pessimistic, you could think to yourself, if Kelee Ringo is getting cooked by Terrace Marshall Jr., what's going to happen if he gets a deep ball against Jamison Williams? If he got to face Darnell Mooney? If he got to face George Pickens? If he got to face a Xavier Worthy or Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, like, all right, like, then that's some cause for concern. I'm not going to be Mr. Negative today, and I'm going to put more of that positive energy towards Terrace Marshall Jr. But I will say, we will monitor Kelee Ringo, and we'll also see if a guy in Adoree Jackson has to come in and start. Because Howie brought in Adoree Jackson from the Giants as an insurance policy just in case Kelee Ringo is not up for the moment. That's what it is. Now, best scenario is that Keely Ringo is up for the moment, and you have a Dory Jackson as a good depth piece. So we'll see. It's day one. You don't want to overreact too much, but you also want to take note of what's going on in real time. I would encourage y'all to read the Philadelphia Inquirer. Jeff McClain is a phenomenal journalist, one of my favorite sports journalists. I read his article before I pressed record to get all the facts. I'm in New York. I'm not at training camp, so I got to get the facts as well as, seeing what's happening in real time with some video footage. But again, I'm very encouraged with how this Eagles team is. Look, the only guy that's injured for the foreseeable future is Nakobe Dean. And even he's been on schedule or been ahead of schedule, at least from the eye test, with his workouts and the fact that, this man out here, he got like 225 pounds and he's squatting, he's doing leg raises, all this stuff. Like, he looking good. So we're going to be positive today. Do want to talk about Jordan Mailata and what he said and talk about this defensive line. I love Jordan Mailata saying that he is hyped about Jaylen Herz. Jaylen Herz is the truth. He is a freak athlete, an absolute freak athlete. And Jordan Mailata comparing Jaylen Herz to Micah Parsons in their tendencies, in their athleticism, is not a coincidence. A guy in Jordan Mailata, I don't feel like he BS's it. I feel like he gonna tell it what it is. And he not comparing somebody to Micah Parsons just because he's chatting. Jaylen Herz in the Super Bowl showed out. Jaylen Herz in the playoffs with limited snaps, he showed out. And so he's primed up to succeed Josh Sweat, who just got a bag from the Cardinals. It's a reason why the Eagles were like, hey, Josh Sweat, we love you. We appreciate you, but go get your bag. It's a reason why the Eagles said, Milton Williams, we love you. We appreciate you. Go get your bag. Because you got Jaylen Herz and you got a slew of defensive tackles that's coming up. Whether it's Ty Robinson, Thomas Booker, Mora Jomo, Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is looking like he's in the best shape of his life. I'm going to bet my bottom dollar that this is the breakout year for Jordan Davis. We have said it before and we will say it again. This will be the first year in the NFL for Jordan Davis that he has consistency on the defensive side of the ball. He has a guy in Vic Fangio who believes in him, who's not going anywhere, who is going to maximize his full potential. And that brother is looking slim. And when he was 350, he was tracking down Josh Allen in the snow. So all we're saying is a guy in Jordan Davis, the sky's the limit. And we're not going to just subject him to being a run stopper. We have said it before, and we will say it again. If you are subjecting Jordan Davis and capping his ceiling at being a run stopper, and you're an Eagles fan, you're being an apologist. Because you are not drafted 13th overall to just be a run stopper. And Jordan Davis has bigger goals for himself than just being a run stopper. That's what it is. We ain't saying the guy got to get 5 sacks, 5, 6 sacks as the nose tackle. But we are saying he has potential to get more pressures against the quarterback. And in the playoffs, he did just that. he was balling out. And so with whether it's Cooper Dejean or Nolan Smith, who had a career high, well, not even just a career high, Nolan Smith had a franchise record 4+ sacks in the playoffs. We're looking at this and we're saying to ourselves, these guys are going to build off what they did in the playoffs. They are. They are. Got a couple more things before we dip. I'm going to do one more Eagles topic, and I'm going to talk about the Giants because they're extremely funny. Don't sleep on A.J. Dillon. Do not sleep on A.J. Dillon. I know some of y'all forgot about him because he had a season-ending injury last season who kept him out all last year. But look at this, y'all. In A.J. Dillon's last 2 years in Green Bay, in 2022 and 2023, he averaged between 900 to 1,000 scrimmage yards as the running back 2, next to Aaron Jones. Now, Saquon Barkley had 345 carries last year. He had an all-time great season for a running back. He balled out. I'm here to say, I don't want Saquon Barkley having 345 carries again. We're not doing that. Yes, he be flying over people, but he is human at the end of the day. And so ideally, you would like a guy in A.J. Dillon to really get Saquon either just at 300 carries, but ideally, not even 300. Ideally, you want A.J. Dillon to get Saquon Barkley under 300 carries. That should be the goal. And if he can get anywhere between 600, 700 scrimmage yards as the running back 2, oh my gosh, the Eagles are set up for success. And I did not forget about Will Shipley. Now he has to improve as a run blocker, as a pass blocker, and we'll see if he improves in that aspect. But I'm looking at that running back room, and I have high expectations for A.J. Dillon, and I'm crossing my fingers that if he is 80% of what he was in Green Bay, the Eagles hit a jackpot for what they got him as. That's a fact. I'm looking forward to that. Shout out A.J. Dillon. Him and Saquon, they got them quads, yo. Between A.J. Dillon, Saquon Barkley, and Jaylen Herz, they can squat a whole bunch. A whole bunch. For sure. Last topic, the Giants. I saw Jackson Dart throw a pick 6 during training camp. Now it's day one. It's day one. It's day one. It's only training camp. But I will laugh so hard when we find out what I've already known. And that Shedeur Sanders will be the better quarterback over Jackson Dart. That's a fact. It will happen. We're never wrong. We are just early. Y'all trust these GMs that gave Daniel Jones $40 million and let Saquon walk, but you're trusting the judgment of that same GM to say, yeah, I'm going to pass up on the guy that led college football in completion percentage with a terrible offensive line, and I'm going to put my franchise stock into Jackson Dart by trading up in the late first round. The jokes tell themselves. If you want to believe that, believe that. But I'm sitting back, I'm laughing, And I'm saying, watch the Giants win less than 4 games next season. Less than 4 games, bruh. And best believe that offensive line is terrible. It's not going to be no Ole Miss offensive line in the SEC. I'm telling you that, man. I'm telling you that, man. And I am so thankful the Giants said we're picking Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders. I mean, I love these guys. Thank you, the Giants. Thank you so much. Thank you for Saquon Barkley. And thank you for passing up on Shedeur Sanders. Because if the Eagles had to face Jaden Daniels, Shedeur Sanders, and Dak Prescott twice a year for the foreseeable future, that would piss me off. But we ain't got to do that. We ain't got to do that. And that's one team in the Giants that you essentially don't have to think about, man. Shout out to Brian Daboll. Shout out to Joe Shane. Shout out to New York. Concrete Jungle. Again, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We're talking MJ. It's day 1 of training camp. Man, I cannot wait for the start of this NFL season. Love y'all. Peace.